I'm really angry today, y'all. I am not in the best mood. I'm irritated, frustrated, and just overall just a little pissed, to be honest with you. And normally I come on here and I talk about love and light. I talk about experience I've had in my past that are joyful, that are fun to talk about, that are deep, but just oftentimes not in this state where I'm like actually angry. But I feel it's very important for me to express the times I am angry with everyone to show them that I'm human too. And the best way we can actually overcome that anger is to express it, is to share it, is to, in a very healthy way, give it its space. So that's what I'm going to do here today. And because I'm crazy, I'm going to do that in front of a camera for the entire public to see. So, one thing that's come up for me a lot recently is over the past 2 years when I've taken on more responsibility in my life when it comes to running businesses, having employees, buying a home, running that, paying for that, investing in the best relationship in my life, with Elle, who's my future wife. I've taken on a lot more responsibility than ever before. And what that means is there are certain things that I've signed up for voluntarily that I believe are for my highest good and for the highest good of others that are now taking up more time and space and energy of mine that didn't in the past, right? So a handful of years ago, especially between the time I graduated college and wasn't working yet, I had a plethora of time to get coffee with people, to go to dinner, to anyone and everyone who just wanted to chat and via Zoom call, whatever it is, they could. It's completely okay. And I love that part. I think it was fantastic. I learned so many great things about myself. I was able to meet so many different people. And also, I was able to cultivate the skill of what I now saw the relationship as were unpaid coaching containers. The far majority of my life, I've been the more, I hate to say it, but the more happier, the more empowered, the more encouraging friend in every friend group. And oftentimes the one that had really good guidance and wisdom. And so a lot of the conversations I've had in my life have never truly felt 50-50. Oftentimes it turns to one person asking me what feels like a million questions about what they can do better in their life, or them shitting, complaining about everything going on in their life, and I'm just holding the space for them to speak to someone, which I feel as if is very, very important. And I'm very grateful for the people in my life through all levels. I feel like this started probably in middle school, where grown adults, not only people my age, but grown adults at that time would come to me and just let it all out. And I think I do have somewhat of a gift in that way. And I'm immensely grateful for that. And I've made so many friends and have helped so many people. But now that I'm starting to own my own worth and understand that that gift I have is something that is probably for the highest good of myself and everyone I know, if I were to fully embody it and allow anyone in the world to have access to that. And so that is what I've done over the past handful of years. I've at first was free, but is now highly paid one-on-one coaching. I run retreats. I have launched communities that are very affordable for anyone in the world to talk with me and also talk with dozens, and if not hundreds of others that are like-minded, that have very similar values and interests. And so I'm creating these things because there's been an abundance of people wanting my time. I'm creating higher leverage opportunities for them and myself to connect in a way that feels right for both parties. Because what I realized was after, years, so to the past decade of my life, pretty much coaching people for free without even really knowing it through these, what feels like one-sided conversations, relationships, I noticed a pattern that every time I did so, I would feel drained after the call. I'd feel like my energy was taken from me. Because what's happening when someone is, if we look at it, vibration, frequency, energy, which is how the world works, ask Nikola Tesla, that's his quote. Someone who's high vibration and someone who's low vibration, if they come into an interaction, the high vibration person is going to feed more life into the low vibration person. But sadly, the low vibration person is going to lessen the vibration of the high vibration. I hope I said that all right. But either way, it's not beneficial for someone who's high vibe to surround themselves with low vibe people all the time. Because our frequency is what we frequently see. And so if I frequently see people that are low vibration, that are wanting and grabbing for my time, and I allow that to take place, it is going to lower my vibration, which means lower my quality of life, heighten my anxiety, heighten my depression, heighten everything that takes away from things I enjoy in life. And now I am less suited to have the life force energy needed, the space and time needed to do the things that are actually serving humanity to the best of my ability currently. I have less energy to pour into my communities I have online, less energy to pour into my retreats, less energy to pour into my paid clients, less energy to pour into everything I do. I'm literally going to be 70% of who I can be because I siphoned out and rationed out my energy to anyone who ever wanted it. And so when you are wanting to do big things in your life, there comes a point when you realize sacrifices need to be made. This is the thing that unanimously all people that have ever done anything we respect in life, this is the one thing they all share in common. There is a point where they were transitioning to a completely different person than who they were before, and a completely different person than anyone who surrounds them, someone who must value their energy to the highest extent. They must value their time to the highest extent, that they're no longer relatable to the average person who works a 9 to 5 and then spends the rest of their waking hours trying to find something to fill their time with to stop from being bored. I'll go to this concert. I'll go to this. I'll go to that. I'll go to that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're in a different field when you embrace the fact that there is something big you want to do with the world. You have a different lens of looking upon the one finite resource we all have, which is our energy, which equates to time. So when I've made this transition to, oh my gosh, I can't just be giving myself freely to anyone who would like help anymore, I realize the best way for me to continue impacting these people, if they're really serious about change, if they're really serious about having a relationship that feels mutually beneficial, what I did was I simply just charged for my time. Just like you would for a lawyer who has legal expertise, just like you would for a doctor who has medicinal expertise, just like you would for any type of consultant, you would charge them for their time based upon their expertise. I understand it gets tricky here, but if someone like myself, who has an expertise in relationships, who has an expertise in mindset and overall consciousness and spirituality, that is also a skill just like them, that if we want to talk about those things, I have every right to also charge for that. I understand it may be difficult for someone who once got that energy, that wisdom, that time for free, now being invited to get a similar version of that time for a price tag. I understand how that may be a mind-boggling experience. I believe I've done it the best of my ability to make sure that it's done in a respectful manner and in a way that is understandable to those who really care. And I've noticed the far majority of people in my life completely get it. Like, hey, you're really busy. I understand completely. Won't be able to see you as much as I did when we were in college, or even a few years ago when you had less going on. It makes complete sense. You know, like if your high school buddy became a billionaire or incredibly famous, you know, just automatically that the same access you had to them in high school wouldn't be the same as it is then. But when people are on the come up and have to make those sacrifices to become that end result, there's a dissonance that takes place where, because we have not yet had these immense external results, people don't yet have it in their minds that our time is very valuable. And so there's this hallway period that Elle and I are currently going through where people don't have the awareness yet of how valuable our time and energy is. And therefore, because of that, it's oftentimes misused and abused. This all comes from a post Elle just put out recently on her on her Twitter that describes her own story and relationship with these exact changes that must be made in our lives. And certain people that replied to them spent a very long time constructing very long replies, pretty much rebuttaling everything she said. And that's completely understandable. You completely can. But these people in here know me personally and are indirectly talking about their experience either with me or with others like me, and somewhat disrespecting the boundaries that we put in place. Because what happens when a friend rapidly evolves, and especially if they're in coaching, which I understand is it's a very unique thing for a friend to be in. But when you evolve to this level, in order to feel as if it's worth your time, once you do this as a profession, you must be paid for it. And so I've done a great job of a period of time where if people ask my time, I'm like, no, man, just it's not a priority for me at this moment to be going to these events with you, to go this and that. I deeply love and respect you as a person, but just now I'm focusing on these things. And then for me later to be like, hey, I know you wanted to hang out and you wanted to spend time together. Here is a new vehicle to do so. Then they're pissed about it. It doesn't make any real sense to me, because what I'm doing is, other than creating that wall and keeping a wall of like, hey, don't talk to me anymore, I'm creating a bridge in which, hey, you can talk to me. We can have experiences together. I can show you a group of people that are very aligned with exactly where you are. I can introduce you to them and have you be immersed in our circle where you meet with me, meet with them weekly, if not even more than that. I'm extending out a hand, a bridge, to have a relationship on a complete different level than whatever it was before, on a way that's more consistent and on a way that feels good for both. But people don't have the awareness that their energy is not yet valuable. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm going to get a lot of hate on the internet for saying this, but I don't give a shit, because every person that has ever become something goes through this. But it's a very hard pill for those that refuse to do something with their lives to understand. So my time is not nearly as valuable as, let's say, the President of the United States, Tony Robbins, someone who's in my career path. That is the highest level of it. My time is not nearly as valuable as Oprah, as all these people that we know. We understand that. But my time is more valuable than someone who is living in their parents' basement, sleeping and playing video games and doing those things, doing nothing with their lives, laying on the couch for 23, 24 hours of the day. My time is more valuable than them. And so there are people that are asking for my time, but there is no value that they can provide me that would make it worth it for me. And now they may be a fantastic business owner in this, or they may have great expertise in that, but if that's not an expertise I need at this moment to serve my highest mission, there's nothing we can do to make that an equal energy exchange. So what would happen, like I talked about earlier, is one person that has more value to offer connects with someone who has nothing to offer. This person will feel heightened. The one with nothing to offer will feel heightened, but the one that has everything to offer will only feel lessened. And you know this when you're just around people that complain all the time and you're a positive person. You can feel the difference in the air. You feel drained. You feel like your life force has been taken from you in that moment. And so now that I am making the decisions to take back my power, I'm receiving comments, replies, messages from people that feel pissed about that. But the only people that feel pissed about you creating boundaries are the people that took advantage of the fact that in the past boundaries were not in place. And so when we make posts like this, you see it very clear who were the takers in the past and who are the people that are just like, okay, man, completely understand. That's all good. Or the people that want to overgive because they now realize the amount of value we're giving them they weren't aware of. And like, okay, whatever it is. So I say all this because I have no problem, Elle and I have no problem with the amount of people that watch our content, that just love it, but don't, like, they don't comment, they don't buy anything. That's completely okay. You go to the walk, you go to Great Morning, you go to all these other free events that we have, and you just make the most out of it. You meet a bunch of cool people. It's completely fun. You don't owe us anything. We're doing these literally for free. We're doing these for service to humanity to make sure everyone has access to a higher version of themselves whenever they'd like it. This is where we have the problem. We have the problem with people that either take advantage of all those opportunities or don't, but then go out of their way to ask or tell us that they deserve our time. That's where we must cross the boundary. That's where we place it right there to be like, you can have that, but it's going to cost you something. Because my energy, my time, is money. So I'm more than willing to do it, but it must provide me value. And now I'm not going to get value by the dollars and the numbers in the bank account. No, I'm getting value by what that money provides me. Money is just energy. So if that means that an hour speaking with you will pay for my groceries for the next few weeks for myself and my future family and for my life, that makes sense. That's more added value. Or it helps me, put gas in my car, pay my mortgage. That's added value. But if it's not giving me anything and only giving you something, that's leading to a dissonance in value, a separation in the energetic exchange that makes it feel really great for one person and really shitty for another. But the people that are saying these things, this is what really frustrates me. The people that are asking for more of my energy, when I respectfully and lovingly say a boundary, or I show them ways where they can get more of my energy, even immensely affordable ways, they don't respond. And then they publicly talk shit about it on the internet or to others that get back to me. And I'm just like, dude, I'm literally creating things to solve your problems in the most effective, direct way possible. But this is the thing. These people don't want you to solve their problems. These people want you to hold space for them as they trauma dump, as they tell you how hard their life is. There's one common thread oftentimes amongst people like this is that they're broke and they're anonymous online. And they're complaining that someone who has done the work to have the courage to publicly share their stories online, to publicly offer things that benefit the world, they feel entitled to those people's time and then resent them when they tell you, hey man, I would love to get to know you, but it's going to cost this much because you are not the only one reaching out wanting my time. There are hundreds of people doing the exact same. And so I'd love to get to know you, my friend. It'll just have to happen in this container. There is nothing wrong with that at all. But it's that mindset that people are entitled to your energy, entitled to your time, which equates to, if time is money, entitled to your money almost. That is what's keeping them where they're at. And that energy they're giving off is what makes it feel as if I need to put money into the equation for me to be in their presence. Because a person with that scarcity, that lack, that entitlement, that has led to the lives being shit, that's led them wanting to talk to me because they can't escape their own mental suffering within, that same virus within them is acting out again towards us when we are literally giving them everything they need to heal. So I've noticed when I make videos like this, when Elle writes things like she has recently, it makes it very clear that there are people that we impact and want to give, or not even give, but receive more of our time, receive more of our energy, receive more of our videos or other resources we offer that have actually genuinely changed people's lives for the better. I'm talking quit addictions. I'm talking find their dream romantic partner. I'm talking everything. We've done that and helped them. There are people that are ready for that transformation. Then there's another area where people that are just enjoying what we have for free, which is fantastic. The podcasts, the videos, the great morning, the walks, perfect. And they don't feel entitled or want anything more. Then there's this third section of leeches, of takers, that feel as if they are entitled to all of it. And sometimes these are people from your past that didn't have the awareness of the unequal energy exchange. Or oftentimes they're just randos on the internet. They're always anonymous. They're always oftentimes complaining about how they don't have any money. And yet simultaneously acting as if they deserve you. So it makes me really pissed, honestly, because I'm very grateful that what got me to where I am now is having the awareness that at one time, I'm going to say this one thing, that I ain't shit. Straight up. Now, we are all human. We are all deserving of love. We're all worthy. And also, we all give a different level of value to others. That's why not everyone can be the leader. That's why everyone can't be the doctor or the mechanic. We all have different levels of value we can give others. And I realized that there are people in the world, I'm so glad I learned this about a few years ago, that understand more than I do, that have more wisdom, that have more expertise, have more experience, and that my life would be better if I had them in it. So I saw these people, I sought after them, and didn't DM like, hey, let's go get coffee, hey, let's do this. No, I'm like, hey, you have these services, whether it's coaching or whether it's personal training or whether it's a retreat. And I just want to be, so I will pay just to be in your presence, just to learn from you. And then whatever happens from there happens. So I think about my best friend in Bali, Mikkel, started in a coaching container. I was a client, he was a coach. Like, this guy's a fantastic vibe. This guy would be a fantastic friend to have, but I have nothing to offer him that would make it a great relationship. You know? Like, genuinely. Like, I'm a funny, charismatic dude that's smart, got shit going for me. But in the past, like, there's nothing I could offer him except money that would make my time worth his time. And so I paid him. And then after the coaching container, because he liked me and because we had a great time, we just became friends and I didn't have to pay for it. And he didn't have to pay for me, whatever it was. It was just our friendly relationship. Another time happened when I first came to Austin. A personal trainer has now become one of my best friends, started from me paying him a certain amount per hour for him to train me physically, but also he was enlightened, so he's helping me with that journey. And the same with one of my best friends, Danny, now. I first got to know him by going to his retreat and paying him $1,000. And then from there, we were just good vibes and worked out, and I'm now dating one of his best friends, and just things really worked out. Now we're good friends. But I didn't go into it with the energy of, I deserve to be your friend. Let's hang out. No, I went in like, hey, I understand there's a dissonance taking place, and I will pay the thing or create the energy exchange necessary to make that equal so that it's worth your time to be around me if I'm truly serious about getting to know you better. And so there are also other containers where I've had coaches that are obviously on a complete different level than me. I've had doctors, I've had lawyers, I've had people that are a completely different level of me. And I know that I'm not entitled to their time. That they will only be with me because I had money to offer them. And I happily paid it because the amount of value and expertise and wisdom I got from them was much worth that time. But this is the one thing all poor people think, all broke people think, everyone that has that mind virus thinks is like, well, if only they got to know me, we'd be friends. Possibly. But the quickest way for them to get to know you is for you to do something. In this world, our value is what we can do to serve others. It has always been that way throughout human nature and will continue to be that way. But it's people in their heads thinking, oh, I'm capable of having a huge business. I'm capable of looking this way. I'm capable of this. I'm capable of that. I know I'm not doing it, but I could. So I'm looking at the value I bring of not what I actually have done, but what I could be doing as if I had these qualities. And if I had those qualities, then I'd be worth this person's time. So I'm going to go to them now and say, hey, let's hang out. No. You got to do things to be worthy of people's time. And those things got to be aligned with the things they're trying to do so that their time equation, their energy equation, it makes sense for them, for you to be a part of it. I have friends, let's say Danny, I have other friends, Justin, other friends that are immensely high vibe, that are never draining my energy, that I learn wisdom from every single time I see them, that are just great, fantastic people. And yet I see them sparingly. And just like all hyper-productive people that are making an impact in the world, I see them sparingly because even though they are an immaculate vibe, an hour with them takes away from an hour I can be serving the world on a one-to-many scale. Produce a video or writing that could be seen by millions of people. To host a call where hundreds of people join that can make an impact on. Even them that are high vibe aren't worth my time. Most days out of the week. So this entitlement, I've realized, comes from a place of unworthiness. Because the more I've owned my own worth, the more I respect the worth of others. But when I feel as if I'm not worthy, I can't imagine others feeling much more worthy than I do. And therefore, I can't have a mindset and awareness level that they would have in which they would need boundaries from people. They would need to charge their time. So I have nothing but love and respect for those that either have been in my life in the past or are just anons on the internet wanting my time. I would love to help you, but it needs to be in a container that feels right for the both of us, not just one of us. And so when I publicly share new containers, new ways of developing a relationship with me that feel right for both of us, and not only is it not acknowledged, it's completely okay if you're not interested or don't feel like acknowledging it, it doesn't feel right for you, that's completely okay. But to either directly or indirectly disparage us is us just being reaffirmed that you're not worth our time. It is making it very clear which category of person you are on our journey. And that is of a leech, of a taker. So I'm going to be more motivated to speak on these harder conversations because it shows me what bucket, what category these people are in. And I understand that the way capitalism, the way money has been portrayed in society, we think that the people that are business owners, we think the people that are wealthy did it from a place of being power hungry and money hungry. And that's partially true. And oftentimes, if you still are that way yourself, that's how you see it in the world. But those that are operating at a different level, those that are actually ready to change and evolve and become the person they're always capable of being, they actually do the things they've always wanted to do. Those people see money as a tool. We see money as a filtration system that help those that are actually ready to change their lives, actually ready to develop incredible friendships, actually ready to become the person who is capable of, as the filter that would help those people rise to the top, and all the others that are actually just saying they want to be better, that's saying they want to be happier, that's saying they want to do these things, they can stay at the bottom. Money is a filtration system for those that are really about that life versus those that are just talking about it. That is the biggest positive about charging a lot of money for services. And again, I have services of my direct time and a lot of money, some that are much more affordable and much smaller, that is purposely able to be purchased by anyone, at least in a first world country, to have access to a better life. So I'm not, outrageously charging, hundreds of thousands for something. It's $55. What are we doing here? But that 50 serves as a filter versus those just talking about it and those that are really ready for the change. And so I've realized, man, this is such an important lesson because I'm not going to spend an ounce more of energy around people that haven't gone through that filter. I'm still going to put out a bunch of free content that I will spend the rest of my life doing it. And I'll always double down on content because it has dramatically changed my life. I'll continue that. But my one-on-one energy is not going to be put towards anyone that isn't matching the level of energetic exchange necessary for me to feel good and to feel more energized, to me have more energy, more life force than ever before. So those that are of the awareness level to understand this concept will, but those that are not will continue to look at this and say, there's a million things wrong here. Why are you charging money for a friendship? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing... It's because we're taking these relationships out of context. And if you still feel that way, that's completely okay. We just lack the awareness around the amount of value we're actually bringing to people or lack thereof. So those are just my thoughts. I really appreciate y'all tuning into this. This isn't like the easiest conversation for me to have. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I felt as if me saying this and me getting this out is such an important part of me having more compassion, honestly, for the people that are in that situation, that have adopted such a victim mindset, that are in survival mode, that are deeply suffering, that feel entitled. It makes me have more compassion for them when I let out the anger around these situations. And it also just helps me clarify what is worth my time and what isn't. What I must let go of, the relationships, the need to please everyone, I must let go of that to go to the next level. I understand this is something that everyone I've ever admired has had to go through. It's tough to go through at this moment. So yeah, it's a tough price to pay when a lot of relationships in your life must be redefined. But for the impact we've already been able to make due to our newfound level of freed up energy, time, and space by having these boundaries in place, the impact that's resulted into is something that is so worth it. The price I'm paying for this is worth it every day and twice on Sunday. And I understand as Elle and I expand our reach, it's going to lead to even more frustrations. Like stalkers exist. Like all those other things exist. I understand that. And they've already kind of happened and will continue to. But I just keep on being reassured that it's all worth it. That it's all worth it. This is just the price you need to pay. You're going to have a lot of complicated relationships and people that see you as what they're not. And that's okay. So I appreciate y'all sharing your true thoughts and feelings. I'm glad you're doing that. I think it's best for your own growth, best for our growth to hear this and feel this. It's also just very clarifying on the fact that this is all just a test given by the universe right now to Elle and I to really understand that these group of people have existed throughout our entire lives and will continue to exist and amplify as we expand our reach. And we just need to be okay with that. Okay that we aren't going to please everyone and not everyone's going to like that we charge for our time and the price tag behind it. And I have nothing but empathy for those people because I understand the place it's coming from. I understand it's coming from a victim mindset, an entitled mindset. Those people are deeply suffering within. So those are just my thoughts. I appreciate y'all listening. That's it for today. It's completely okay to put boundaries in front of everyone in your life so that you can live a life that feels truly aligned. You can focus and be intentional on things that are truly worth caring about. Those boundaries are needed. I hope this video, sharing my anger upon the downside of those boundaries, helps you understand that I feel as if those boundaries, those conversations, those shifts in the relationship dynamics are worth it. They're worth it for the highest good and impact you're able to create with that cleared up space and energy. So thank you all. Love you all.